I think I'm online. I hope I'm online. You guys, I hope my internet connection is going to work. It is a Saturday, so I don't see anybody coming into the chat either. Oh, here comes somebody. Okay, so I must be streaming even though this connection does not look great. Hey Jaden, how are you? Alright, so you guys, I'm on a bit of a dodgy connection. I'm hoping that this holds. I just rebooted my modem and everything, but I'm not sure. Okay, now the light is green. Oh, it's going red. Bear with me, guys. This is the forecast for Gemini. Hopefully it works. Welcome to Mercury retrograde. Let's just say that. So, for anybody with Gemini in their sun, moon, or rising, or in heavily placed planets, you may want to watch this. You might be able to gain insight into what could potentially be happening for you in the month of July 2020. I did alter the monthly reading a little bit. It will still be the same tarot layout, but I've added a couple of extra cards. One is from the Animal Spirit deck. And what that represents is just sort of like an animal spirit to kick us off as sort of like hopefully a guide that will guide us through the month of July. We've had such a rough 6 months that I feel like we need a little bit of a tour guide every month for the rest of the year to help guide us, maybe introduce us to new abilities that we might need to access, new ways of being, or latent abilities that might have been inside of us that we've forgotten. So, hey Christina Avalos, how are you? So that's what the spirit animal card is for, to kick it off. Then we'll go into the tarot deck, look at what we see in the tarot cards, in the mini tarot that I normally use. And then the last card will be from Divine Doors. And that's just going to tell us a bit about sort of what doors are opening or closing for my Geminis in the month of July, or where's another area where we can focus on, you know, the opportunity of movement, that sort of a thing. Okay, so that's, oh god, I keep seeing the red light. I have not done Libra yet. Libra will be next, Jaden. It will be after this one. I'll sign off and I'll come back on to do Libra and then Aquarius. So this is just solely for Gemini. I'm doing them singularly instead of grouped, not like I normally do, because my internet connection has been so bad that it's been dropping and I end up with 2 or 3 videos for each sign. So I'm hoping that this doesn't happen today. So let's see what's going on for Gemini. What animal is with Gemini in the month of July of 2020? Oh, this is interesting. This is a weird one. This is like the Ouroboros in that dream deck. This is Sea Serpent. Okay, so this animal is spirit from the spirit realm. This is not, which I think is kind of cool. Although it isn't a sea animal, but it is sort of a mythical creature, right? You have the different animals that are elemental, you know, like earth, air, fire, and water in this deck. And I'm not super familiar with this deck. I've only just started using it. I do have an unboxing video of it, but Sea Serpent, to me, this reminds me of the Ouroboros, which is this never-ending sort of cycle of like chasing our tail, or we could be consuming ourselves, eating away our problems, and still maybe creating more, that sort of thing. Sea Serpent also brings me to this idea of concentrating on the continuity of life for Gemini, the full circle aspect of life for Gemini, as far as how everything has a beginning, middle, and end, and then we start something new again, right? So when I'm looking at this serpent kind of going in a circle, kind of meeting its own tail, is there might be something that might be repeating. This sea serpent feels like he could be telling some of my Geminis that you guys are repeating a cycle. And B, that no matter what is going on, even if it's frustrating, and we'll wait and we'll see in the cards whether or not it's good or bad, but if it's something that Gemini might be frustrated with, I feel like this sea serpent is also here to show us the cycles of that. Although we struggle against things, and it may feel like things are not changing, that change does indeed happen, sometimes slowly over a period of time. And to me, that's what the sea serpent energy is. There's also a serious magic about this sea serpent. To me, I think about the sea serpent can kind of move through things fairly easily if it chooses to do so. So, my Geminis, if you guys find yourselves in situations that are sticky, complicated, or otherwise annoying, think about this sea serpent and sort of move through the ocean with that smoothness like a sea serpent would, right? Also knowing that, your snaky ass can get yourself out of whatever you need to if you have to, because a sea serpent's not to be messed with, right? So that's kind of what I'm getting for the message from this. I just also think this, like, seriously, this is about cycles. If you guys are feeling like you're doing something or repeating something over again and you're just rolling your eyes going, oh my God, not again. There's a reason for it. Sea serpent's here to teach you something in that cycle that you have yet to learn or see. There's this eye in the center here too. To me, it makes me think like there's something that we might be missing or not seeing. And once we see it clearly or understand it, we get to sort of start the new cycle or start the new endeavor, move on to something different. Okay? So that is your animal. It is a mythical creature, guys. So I kind of feel like the spirit-based animals, which we had one for Sagittarius also, they sort of are a little bit more elusive. They're not like your, basic animal. I would keep on the lookout for snake imagery also throughout the month of July. If it happens to appear, I don't know, in paintings, on walls, if you have this unending need to get a snake tattoo, don't be surprised, because that could also be that sea serpent energy just coming at you in a way that, sea serpents don't just come out of the ocean every other day, so there might be signs around snakes too, and I only say that because this is like a spirit card. So spirit may try and send my Geminis a few messages through snake imagery, that kind of a thing. Like, don't be surprised if a snake crosses your path, or to remind you of this sea serpent energy that you have going with you. Like, stay with this cycle, keep moving with it, move smoothly through situations that don't like necessarily maybe deserve your attention, or you don't want to give your attention to anymore. You may have to, so that you can finish out the cycle and then, cleanly move on. Okay? All right, so let's see what's going on in Gemini's cards. Hey, Deanna, how are you? Scorpio did go up already, Deanna. Scorpio's already up on the business page, dear. It might have two videos. I feel like the ending of Scorpio fell off and it disconnected. So there might be a small ending to Scorpio that you may have to catch. I'm not sure. Cancer came out in 3 videos. It pissed me off. It was the first video in perfect Mercury retrograde fashion. I lost connection twice while shooting it. So I ended up with 3 videos just for one Cancer video. All right, so let's see what's going on for my Geminis. So this first card is your center card. This tells me a bit about where you're centered at for the month of July, kind of where you'll be vibrating at most of the time, not all of the time. It also gives me insight into what you could be potentially creating for the future. So we have the Three of Pentacles. The Three of Pentacles is usually about collaboration, hard work, that kind of a thing. Although I do feel like these two are kind of like chilling in this deck. I've always sort of gotten this sort of laissez-faire attitude from these two hoes. I mean, look at them. They're like, yeah, well, what if we do this? I don't know. I'm going to get more sun. I don't know. But what I do want to say is I do feel like they are collaborating. They're discussing ideas. So this is an earth sign or an earth element card, which is not necessarily sort of most ideal with Gemini, because Gemini is an air sign, but you guys prefer to probably be a little bit more expansive, a little bit faster. This feels like a little bit slow moving energy, but there's a definite emphasis of collaboration, communion, sharing of ideas, maybe coming together and working on a project with someone else, even if it's, say you're doing it from home via Zoom or whatever. There is definitely some sort of coming together or some sort of focus. It will be a focus to sort of hopefully help to produce money for you. That's the Pentacles aspect of this, or, material gain in some way, like some sort of betterment. But I sort of feel like it's going to require maybe another party or somebody else's sort of expertise. That's the sort of the Three of Pentacles energy, is like that kind of working hard together, coming together to do something, to put something together. Um, so that might be a focus for most of my Geminis. The idea is to come up with an idea. I actually kind of feel like it might be that a lot of you are stuck at home. That's the I feel like this is my Gemini lounging on the couch while he's zooming with this person here. Maybe it's a class you're taking. Maybe it's uh, a business venture of some sort. I'm not exactly sure, but it just sort of feels like I sort of feel like my Gemini's still a little over it, laying here on the ground. He's kind of like, oh yeah, whatever. And that's some of the sea serpent energy too, is this sort of thing about like, oh, here we go again, yet another cycle. Around and around we go. You know, they're getting ready to close America back up again. But the sea serpent to me is stronger than that. He knows how to survive. And so I feel like my Geminis will figure that out, or at least with this Three of Pentacles, you will find things to pass the time, so to speak, and keep you engaged throughout the month of July, so that you at least are feeling like you're building towards something. It might be building in small um, steps at first, but just allow it to build. I have a feeling that it could gain momentum, or at least that's what I'm sort of sensing as I'm looking at this card. So let's look at, and it may take, you know, the month of August for it to really get the ball rolling. This might be only beginning stages for some of my Geminis. Keeping that in mind, don't give up on it. Like, don't lose hope. And I think that's some of the struggle of this sea serpent, is sort of like this guy, like, oh my God, are we going to be at this forever? Like, really? Come on now. And that's not to feel, what's the word I'm looking for? I don't want you to feel disempowered. I want you to understand that cycles happen. And that's what sea serpent is here to show you, is that it's those sort of spirits on a whole different timeline. And just stay steady and focused in whatever it is that you are doing, and you will get there, is the feeling that I'm getting from these two cards together. The next card is the foundation card. This tells me a little bit about um, uh, what was going on in the past that opened the door for everything to be the way that it is today. So this is sort of not only what holds everything in place, the memory of this, but it's also kind of what sort of drives everything from underneath, you know? So this is the Nine of Swords, which is the Nightmare card. This is the least nightmare version of this card. I kind of like this card. It's a little bit softer, but it does have the woman sort of reaching out in the night. Here it looks like there's been some struggles, especially struggles towards getting to the future. There's definitely been some worries. This card would indicate worry. Swords is the element of air, which is Gemini's home, you know, element. And being the thinkers that you are, maybe in the past leading up till this point, you guys have been thinking a little bit too much, maybe worrying a little bit too much, feeling a little bit sort of stressed out or freaked out, trying to look to the future and not being able to see. I do feel like her arm outstretched like that, she feels a little bit blind in a way, which we all are kind of blind right now, but I feel like maybe it's been exceptionally hard for my Geminis because you guys like to think and plan and put things together, and I think that that's sort of maybe not been able to work out very well for you in the preceding months. So in response to that, I feel like this Three of Pentacles energy is coming in, where it's like, okay, I'm going to get practical, I'm going to get grounded, I'm going to work on a project, I'm going to work on something that like brings me about maybe some financial gain, or maybe it doesn't even have to be financial gain. It could just be like a hobby thing where you're online talking about bird watching. I don't know. I'm just making that up, but it could be something as far as a collaboration with somebody else, you know, just chatting with them in regards to, oh, wouldn't it be fun if we did this? Or wouldn't it be fun if we did that? Or maybe joining a book club. I don't know. To me, this Three of Pentacles feels like you guys actually interacting with the outside world as best you can. Probably from the safety of your own homes. That's why he's like reclining here. But doing it in such a way that it takes your mind off of any worrisome thoughts that maybe have been plaguing you from the past. Because let's face it, a Gemini can worry like no other. That's my feeling, especially with this Nine of Swords in the bottom, in the foundation space. So it feels like you guys maybe have been a little bit stressed, maybe chasing your own tail a little bit, like this sea serpent. And that's what the sea serpent is here to show you. Remember, sea serpent can move, like I said, it can move through the ocean sort of stealthily and kind of uh, like slide through situations a whole lot easier if we allow ourselves to, right? And so the Three of Pentacles, although it's a slower energy, it feels like we're focused on something else than what's going on around us that might have been causing us stress previously. Now, the next card is the Spirit or Soul card. This tells me a little bit about where your spirit or soul is focused on and what it's doing. And I need my damn glasses. 1 second, guys. I always forget something. I swear to God, I'm such an old lady. Okay, so this card is actually a really nice card. This is the Knight of Wands. This is your complementary element of fire, which I like that about it. Fire is about action steps, right? And the element of the spirit. The knight being here, he's sort of standing there, kind of. Where's this thing? Oh no, sorry, this is the king. I was like, wait, where's his horse if he's the knight? This is the King of Wands, bitch. Okay, we ain't playing. You are in your finery. So what your spirit wants for you, I feel like I'm just going to set him over here so we can see him a little bit. What I feel like is this is about owning us ourselves. From our spirit wants us to own our intelligence, our authenticity, our authority, all of those things from a place of this kind of air that this king has, which is this regal, uh, aware sort of stance, right? He is feeling himself. I mean, you can certainly see that in this card. It's interesting that his robe matches the blue around the sea serpent. This is full on sea serpent realness, okay? This is like my Gemini's going like, I am King Sea Serpent, do not fuck with me. But what I am going to say this is see how he's sort of in this pose where he's standing upright, he's paying attention, yet he's back behind his wand. To me, that feels like Gemini might need to understand what they know, trust what they know, but don't get involved in the bullshit. Like, that's my feeling with this King of Wands, is it feels like, you know, surveying over everything and keeping an eye on everything, treating yourself with respect, authority, authenticity, appreciating yourself, honoring yourself like this king would be honored, but not like sinking to anybody else's level and getting involved in the drama in the month of July. Okay, this here to me is not necessarily about getting involved in the drama, this Nine of Swords, but this is about being affected by the drama. And your spirit wants you up here in this role of leader, in this role of sort of authority and clear thinking, clear seeing, clear connection to spirit, those sort of things. Again, we've got a spirit-based animal as your guide for this month. So that makes sense why the King of Wands would be sitting up in your soul card or spirit space. Is there's definite this seeking or desire. I feel like the cards are not only giving you this this animal that comes from the spirit realm, but your spirit is also saying, look, I want you guys vibrating up here, not down here. And for the most part, this is not a bad card, this Three of Pentacles, but it's sort of like about practicality. It's about working well with others. It's about putting in hard work and trying to find things to focus on, to not maybe get caught up in the worries or the drama or the fighting. Okay, if you do that, I think you're going to have more of a chance of rising up to this sort of King of Wands awareness that your spirit wants for you. And it's just going to place you in a much more easier, comfortable place. It's also going, I just get this feeling because it's a king card, it's going to garner you respect from those around you. It's going to garner you like opportunities, maybe even appreciation from those around you, where they're like impressed with how maybe calm you're being, how easily the answers may come to you, right? In sort of whatever it is you may be dealing with, right? If you say you're, I don't know, mitigating issues between friends and you go, well, you know, this person is saying this and that person's saying that, and this is what you should do. People are going to be like, whoa, how did you hold your shit together around that? You know what I mean? It's that kind of a vibe. So this is what your soul is calling out for you to do. Fire being the element also is your complementary element to your air symbol of Gemini, or your air astrological sign of Gemini. So to me, there's a symbiosis there that's very, very nice. And I think that you want to be aware of that as you're aspiring to greatness. The greatness that you're aspiring to is this sort of connection to spirit. This king card, this King of Wands, this king of fire, right? So, and also we have, like I said, the sea serpent is also spirit. So there's a symbiosis between your guardian or your guide this month, and your highest good. So shoot for that, or that would be the goal: is to rise above it all, be an authority, but don't necessarily badger everybody or bang everybody over the head with what you know to be true. Just allow them to come to you. They're going to be far more receptive and appreciative of it. It also will help to break you out of any sort of cyclical nature that you feel like is going on here. But you also, I feel like the sea serpent is also sort of trying to show you that just the cycles of life, like they kind of keep on going, keep on going. There's no point in getting frustrated with them, right? That the sea serpent will continue to exist on. All right, so the next two cards are what I call the outside influences. They go on either side of you. They are things that could be influencing you both either positively or negatively. Sometimes these can be people or events, or things more vague like energies or belief systems that are having an effect on us. So let's see. So one is the Hermit. So the Hermit is major arcana. The Hermit is definitely like stay-at-home order for sure. I feel like the Hermit is this opportunity also throughout the month of July to kind of get right with yourself, to kind of go inward and seek answers, to connect your intuition, to find sort of the answers about maybe the darker side of yourself, spending time alone. I don't necessarily feel that that's a hard thing for Geminis to do, or I don't feel like it would be a hard thing for you guys to do. It might be a little bit daunting, but I do get this sense, like with this reclining person here, that I feel like my Geminis are already kind of isolating as it is. So take this time. This Hermit to me feels like there's big gifts within that isolation. There's big opportunities within that time to sort of either flesh out these ideas, connect yourself to this higher awareness of this King of Wands energy, so that you can be in a place of authority, or that you can be in a place of self-knowledge and wisdom that empowers you, versus feeling like you're struggling against everything that's going wrong around the world and having no control over it. You don't want to sink back into that. I don't feel as though that you will. I feel like the Nine of Swords is sort of what's driving you to aspire to better, right? This also feels like long conversations with your own spirit or your God in the month of July. I know that sounds a little bit weird or trippy, but him talking to that moon feels like talking to our own intuition, talking to our own guides, whatever that may be for my Geminis. Utilize the time in July to do that, because it's going to serve you. It's going to like grow you. It's going to give you information. It's going to be of major value, I feel like, with that Hermit card sitting there. Now, the other outside, wow, okay, lot of spiritual shit going on around you guys. The other card is the High Priestess. She's kind of like all about spiritual, psychic, secrets, the deep learning of the sort of the other world. So spirit is all around you, hence this sea serpent, guys. Let me just look at this for a minute. I really feel like this High Priestess is also these opportunities to stabilize yourself, to connect to your spirit. It feels like the outside environment, be it energies or situations, are going to push you inward. And I feel like that's a good thing right now. I feel like that's what you want. I feel like those are the things you need to seek out. Don't be afraid to, because maybe being inside of your head in the last few months has been a bit stressful or a bit like painful in that way. I feel like what's coming to you in July actually has benefit. There's opportunities for spiritual growth. There's opportunities for awareness. There's opportunities to forge yourself into this King of Wands at some point or throughout the month of July. So keeping that in mind, when this High Priestess comes to you, or these opportunities come to you where you can go inward, you can meditate or do some sort of deep soul searching that helps you to understand yourself better, that helps you to understand the world better, that helps you to sort of bring about a stronger like awareness for yourself, so that you feel more stable. And these things are going to make you feel deeply stable. It's, excuse me, I just burped. It's it's that kind of stability that like the world can't rock to me. Does that make sense? Like because it's so uh, spiritually oriented and so much at the depths of who you actually are. It's like a deep understanding. All right, so now this next card is the potential outcomes card. This tells me a bit about sort of where my Geminis may end up by the end of the month. Not all of you may experience this card, and it's certainly not set in stone. It can, if it's a negative card, we can use it as a warning to make choices and changes to avoid this happening. But if it's a good card, we can sort of just know that we're automatically sort of heading that way as we, play out the month of July. Beautiful. Hello. So this is the Justice card. And look at here, she's holding this sword and the scales, which would be the symbol for Libra, and the swords would definitely be air element, right? Which is your guys' home element. Justice is major arcana, so it feels like the end of the month is going to, by the end of the month, you will feel complete, you will feel whole, will feel better. I almost feel like it's this woman here that was stressing out a few months ago is back in control, centered, grounded, and aware again. She's balanced, holding those scales, certainly. Some things might come. Here's the other thing I have to say with this Hermit and this High Priestess on the outside of you on both sides. Not only is there all of that sort of spiritual awareness that we have going on, and with this Sea Serpent energy too, there might be a couple of like, I don't know how I want to say it, like, there might be something that comes to light in the month of July that you, as a Gemini, might have been worrying about. This might be a subplot story for maybe just a few viewers, but I'm just going to deliver this because I sort of also am seeing this dual story in these cards right now. It feels like this Nine of Swords could represent a period of time where maybe some distrust or some worry around a particular person has set in, or a situation has set in. Something that has been telling us, I don't know if that's correct, or I don't know if they're telling me the truth. That sort of a thing. With the High Priestess here and the Hermit here, to me, I feel like the High Priestess definitely represents secrets. Usually secrets of a spiritual nature and higher learning in that regard. But I feel like they're both sort of showing up to help you to understand what you do know deep inside. And this King of Wands definitely is an authority. He knows what he knows. So something might come to light, this justice being the outcome for some of you, that you may have already known. Um, and I'm just going to use this as an example. I'm not saying that this is the actual meaning, but like I'm using this as an example. Say one of you has a partner that you thought might be fucking around on you and cheating on you, or you might have a friend that you think is talking behind your back, or you thought that they were talking behind your back, like you were getting weird vibes from them like a month or two ago. Something's off, something in the milk ain't clean kind of thing. I feel like through these experiences of getting to know ourselves and trusting our own intuition, that sort of thing, going deep like the Hermit and listening to the secrets of the deeper soul of ourselves, this sort of High Priestess energy, those answers are going to come out by the end of July. That's this Justice card. And it's not like it's necessarily harmful, it's just like, shit, I knew that. Do you know what I mean? And from there, you're more calm, you're more steady, you're more able to sort of deal with whatever it is that's in front of you because you have all of the facts at that point. And at that point, you don't want to lash out and work like act a fool. You want to be more in this position of this King of Wands or this Justice card, which is again that sort of air of authority, that sort of unshakable awareness, that strength in who you are and what you know to be true. And you will have that by the end of July. I hope that makes sense. Okay, so now let me do the last card. This is from the Divine Doors deck. And this card is going to tell me a bit about what doors are opening and closing for Gemini in the month of July 2020. What does Gemini need to know? What doors do they need to open, or what doors do they need to close? Deanna, you did not miss Scorpio, honey. It's already on the business page. You have to go back and look at it. It's from yesterday. You're welcome, Jaden. Thank you. I am gonna have to take a brief pause. I may do one more, which will be Libra next, and then I may have to take a brief pause for Aquarius because I have people coming through to walk through the house. So, but I will get through all the air signs and possibly the earth signs tonight, and then I'll be done. You can also always check the YouTube channel if you want to find Scorpios there too on my YouTube channel. All right, so this is the doorway that my Geminis are walking through. So this is similar to somebody else had a gate. This to me doesn't feel like a doorway. It feels like a gate. It's wide open to us. I like that aspect to it. I love that there's greenery on the other side. To me, green always represents growth and healing. So there is something that we are walking away from. That's this Nine of Swords energy and towards, right? That is going to probably expand our horizons and give us sort of a little bit of healing, a little bit of peace, a little bit of calm. Let's read the story on the back. This is, begin here. Do not fear what travel brings, my dear. The moment is yours. Begin now here. Pass this on. So, when we talk about begin here, I feel like this Three of Pentacles energy is the collaboration of something new, something material to focus on throughout the month of July that may pay off later. But there's other shifts and changes that are happening at a deeper, more spiritual level for my Geminis that you guys need to begin. If you haven't already started them, now is the time to begin them. Start doing the soul searching through opportunities of being alone with the Hermit. Start listening to the deeper inner voices that you may encounter, which is the energy of the High Priestess. Don't be shocked or upset by any sort of information that you might have been getting that was already in your sort of periphery, right, leading up to this month. If you find out secrets about people or you start to pick up, oh shit, they did do that. I knew they did that. God damn it. You don't want to get mad, right? That's the thing that we don't want. We want to be in this place of justice, knowing that we're protected, we're balanced, we're in by the month's end, it's all going to balance out. It's all going to be okay in the sense that we will feel okay. And that's all that really matters. Justice will be served, so to speak. The truth will come out. There will be, we'll have a better understanding and a much more firmer grasp on what's going on. But this begin here to me speaks to this idea of making that conscious effort to go inward, to work on these projects or these collaborations that might bring about in the next preceding months some I don't know, at least creative opportunity, if not financial gain, right? But it will still be fun and it will keep you out of that sort of Nine of Swords mental worry, anguish energy. Okay? This sea serpent is, again, going to remind you, you are a mythical creature. You can slide through anything quite easily. Remember to not chase your tail. If you find yourself back in that chasing of your own tail energy, I would definitely, stop. Look around again. Utilize what this looks like, an eye to me at the center. Utilize this eye and sort of what's causing you to chase your tail. Go inward. Use that Hermit. Use that the energy of that High Priestess to sort of find your answers, so that you're not this King of Wands is not chasing his tail by any means, guys. Okay? And the sea serpent would be the king of the ocean, right? So it's kind of like bringing in that awareness, owning it, understanding that cycles happen, not letting them get you down. All right, so that is your Gemini reading. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I'm going to sign off for a moment, and then I will be back on to do Libra, and then Aquarius will be after Libra. And if you guys liked the video, please share it out. Share it with any Geminis you know. Please go over and subscribe to my YouTube channel if you're watching on Facebook, or vice versa. If you're on YouTube, please go over to Facebook and like my business page. And I look forward to seeing you guys soon. Have a great July.